Morning, everybody. Grab your cup of coffee. It's time to get ready with some great fishing information here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Good morning. I'm here in Surfside, California, right between Huntington Beach and Seal Beach, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's no wind. You can see those flat, calm seas back there. But what about the fishing? I mean, we've got so much to cover with you. A couple days ago, it was wide open yellowfin tuna and surging towards San Diego. But those little devils gave us the slip yesterday. We'll cover all the islands. We'll cover south of the border down there in Ensenada. We'll have it all for you. I mean, Tom Durr, he's telling me, hurry up, let's go, chop, chop. So it is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends.
Let's go. Chop, chop. Let's go. Chop, chop.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is great to be back with you all. I'll tell you what, it is a really beautiful morning. And Tom Durr, Captain Tom Durr, calm down, chop, chop. I'll give you a chop, chop, let me tell you. It's great to be with you all, and man, we have got a lot to cover with you. First of all, however, Captain Eddie Leland, all your thoughts and prayers going out to Eddie, a longtime captain here in Southern California, and we got some great news yesterday. His tumor shrank, his prostate shrank, so that's the first good signs we've had in a long, long time. I took a good walk with Eddie yesterday, almost a 2-mile walk, I would say, and I believe that did us both a lot of good. We were able to chat about a lot of stuff, and it's just good to see him heading in the right direction. With your thoughts and prayers, hopefully he'll continue to do that. Incidentally, Eddie says he is going to do everything in his power to make the October 23rd 1 million view for Friedman Adventures on YouTube event at 22nd Street Landing. So a good opportunity for me to invite you all right now and have you come down. We're going to have snacks for you. We'll have that morning cup of coffee. You'll be able to come into the studio and grab a photo. I mean, it's going to be a fun day. And then you've got Brian Wynn and Roger Eckhart putting on a great seminar. We've got raffles. We've got open house on the Judith and the El Patron. Man, I'm telling you, it is going to be a day to remember and a lot of fun. And if that were not enough, the kids want to dress up in their Halloween costumes. You know that. And they not only want to do it for Halloween, they're looking for any excuse in the world to dress up. So get the kids dressed up, bring them down. They'll be able to trick or treat, get a bunch of candy, and have a lot of fun. It's going to be a festive, fun family day centered around the great sport that we all love, sport fishing. So I can't wait to do that. All right. Couple of news items. One is that the largest bony fish ever taken, or ever, it wasn't taken, it was floating dead around the Azores Islands near Portugal. And this was quite a while ago, December 9th, 2021, but they just finished studying this behemoth creature that was floating dead. It's the largest bony fish ever taken. It was a giant sunfish, 3 tons of it, and it was the largest bony fish ever. I think there's a scientific journal called the largest bony, or not the large, the Bony Fish Journal or something like that. I forgot to renew my subscription to it this year. I don't know how I could have screwed that up. Anyway, I thought you might like to hear that, maybe not. And also, we still have a lot of squid moving into a variety of different locations in the Santa Monica Bay, most of our islands. That's a great signal and sign. This is the time of the year when you see that. And man, I'll tell you, hopefully we'll get some predators on it like white sea bass, yellowtail, halibut. All of those species could indeed get going here and lead us from an offshore kind of a bite with the warm water into a bite on sea bass and yellows and everything else. If it doesn't do that, it certainly bodes well for the future. It certainly will bring in those predators, and it's the whole food chain coming together. Hopefully it's going to get all of that stuff in here for another big year next year. Channel Islands, of course, has been the epicenter of white sea bass. It has been absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's take you south the border down to Ensenada, where the boys have been bouncing around the kelps, and they are finding more inconsistent fishing down there in that neck of the woods. But you find the right kelp, you roll across the right bunch of yellowfin tuna or bluefin tuna, and you can still have an exceptional day. Having said that, you can also have a slow day. So we are watching things down there at Blackfin. Victor is keeping us all informed. They've had some hits and some misses here recently. There's some Dorado on the kelps down there, and at times it's quite good and easy limits. That's 2 fish per rod in Mexican waters. There's also some smaller yellowfin tuna that is running around in many different areas, and some larger grade yellowfin and bluefin tuna. So you still have a shot. Arnie Man over there at Arnie Man Sport Fishing in Ensenada, he can also take you on a sport fishing venture and have a really great time. And of course, Costa Baja Sport Fishing with our friend Diego Nuno. Diego's a great guy, and once again, you can go fishing with him. Incidentally, last night I was sending my wife a message, besos, kisses, right? I sent it to Diego Nuno by mistake in Ensenada, and he writes back, saludos, like, hey, hi, like, what's going on with you tonight? And so I looked and I said, oh my God, I'm sending hugs and kisses to Diego Nuno, not to Ruth, so I screwed that all up. I think Diego understands what went on there, at least I hope so. All right, hey, let's talk yellowfin tuna and bounce back across to this side of the border. Man, yesterday, 10 boats got on an area of yellowfin tuna about 45 miles from Point Loma, and it was the day boats, it was some overnight boats. I mean, everybody got a piece of it, and it was full speed, wide open for most boats. It was incredible. Fish coming to the corner and chewing the paint off the boat. Everybody getting bit, and it was full speed limits for most of those boats. And man, I'll tell you, that is 5 fish per rod, literally thousands of yellowfin tuna, mostly in that 6 to 10 pound class, smaller grade. Once in a while you get one up there in the 12-pound class, but mostly small grade. But when you have those kind of numbers and that kind of fishing and that kind of excitement, it's really fun. Sonar marks, jig strikes, you name it. The guys were catching it, and the fish would bite the 40-pound and a great big hook in some cases. So they go back to that very same area yesterday, and guess what? They're gone. I mean, there was still some hits there, and some guys caught it, but it was an entirely different day. There were some sonar marks, but you'd throw bait on it and no reaction this time. So what's going on? Is this fish moving? Was it the low pressure? We had that rain and kind of weird weather yesterday. It could be that. It could be a myriad of different things. And it could just be that in the fall, like right now, things are really volatile. You get a drop in water temperature, and those fish say, it is a little too chilly for me. I'm out of here. I'm heading south. Or they just start continuing their movement up into this neck of the woods, and there's going to be 3/4 day boats out of Dana Point screaming about wide open yellowfin tuna later this morning. Not quite sure what's going on, but we do know that it is very volatile right now, and where there was yesterday or 2 days ago wide open yellowfin tuna fishing, it was followed by some pretty tough fishing. Now, overnight boats out of San Diego still able to find limits of Dorado in many, many cases. But everybody got sucked back into that area, and that kind of changed plans for many guys. If you're on a day and a half trip, you still had time to get down the beach and find a kelp holding Dorado. So we've been just re-emphasizing this with all of you all the time. Every day is different right now, and I sincerely mean that. It could be different in that it's a stinker and it was very poor fishing. It could be different in that you found a wide open bite. So you have to have that variety of tackle. Remember, fluorocarbon a must. www.optionusa.com. Put in FA at checkout, and you'll get a love note from Greg Brown as well as a free gift. 25 and 40 minimum, okay? Hook sizes number 2, smaller to 2.0. You want to have that because when they get touchy, smaller hooks are going to get you all the bites in the world. And you can even, if you have more tackle, bring something with 60 pound on it and bring something with 15 pound on it. So vary your tackle. Bare minimum 25 and 40. That should do you just fine in most cases. Choose a good hot bait. That also means a lot. And the weather, I mean, it's gorgeous out right now. This is typical Southern California. northern Baja fall weather. It is usually gorgeous, and you know, we did have some rain, but no biggie there. So we'll continue to monitor this for you very, very closely. Grande on an overnight trip, so they were not on their morning departure, evening return, and they ended up with limits of Dorado yesterday. So nice fishing on board the Grande. Condor 3-day trip had some yellowfin, but they had limits of Dorado on that trip. Now the Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro had one of the better bluefin scores around town with 18 bluefin, and that shows us that there are still some schools, albeit most of them not all that eager. There's still some of that stuff around, so you got to be prepared all the time, and we'll continue to watch and see if that yellowfin has just given us the slip, if it went south, or if it popped up into the LA Orange County area. And that would really be something. It wouldn't surprise me. Ocean Odyssey limits of the Dorado on a 1.5-day trip. The San Diego yesterday had a $1.60 on the yellowfin tuna. A $1.60. They leave in the morning, come back in the afternoon at C4 Sport Fishing. Yesterday, 6 yellowfin, 3 Dorado, 1 yellowtail, and 10 bonita. Man, oh man, what a difference a day makes. And they work their tails off on the San Diego. Always 1,000% effort on that rig. So it's just the way this is right now. Very volatile. One day you get them, one day you do not. It's pretty crazy fishing. The Freedom, well, I should hold that off till we talk islands. Jeff Yeomans and the 540 Club was on board there. Let's do that. So you can hear how volatile it is. Boats along our Southern California coast, you know, 3/4 day guys who were once getting copious amounts of Dorado and catching bluefin and yellowfin. The offshore bite, as you can hear, is iffy now. It is up and it's down. Many boats are going to Catalina Island. They're still looking, and they still have a chance to hit one of those good kelps, but for the most part, it's a lot tougher right now. So we'll continue to watch it. Hey, before I get into the islands, I'll be down at 22nd Street Landing all day long today. And we need some able-bodied people to help us move some stuff, as well as get ready for our October the 23rd celebration down there at 22nd Street. If you're not doing anything today, want to come down and lend a hand, and maybe lend a hand on the Sunday event, just send me a text here this morning. I'll get back to you, and I'll see you at 22nd Street, 657-227-6459. See you down at the landing in just a little bit. All right, let's go the other side of the border, Todos Santos. That yellow bite is not as good as it once was. Guys are hitting that because their offshore scene is a little bit dicier down there. There's still some yellows, big bonita, barracuda, rockfish, calico bass, Coronado Islands, same kind of a situation where there is still a lot of great yellowtail action in that neck of the woods. We've seen scores from 20 to 100 yellowtail. You're going to have some guys hitting that if the offshore situation continues to sputter like this. But man, it's a hard decision. Think about it. If you're running a boat now out of San Diego, you know, you go back to that zone at 45 miles, or you look around somewhere else, you get good coverage and find that the fish have moved. You can get limits of yellowfin tuna if it's the right day. If not, however, you're going to have a really tough day. So I know some guys are thinking, maybe we should go back to the Coronado Islands where we can catch yellows and rockfish and all kinds of other critters, and I know that is rolling around in their heads. Freedom yesterday out there at San Clemente Island, and out there at SCI they had 50 big bonita, some rockfish, but there was really no current. I get this from my friend Jeff Yeomans in the 540 Slingers Club, who have a good time no matter what. If they're catching fish, they're having a great time. If they're not catching fish, they're having a great time because of the attitude they bring not only to every single fishing trip, but to everything they do anytime I find them. They're always there with big smiles and having lots of fun. So very little current over there. That did not help the situation one bit at all. They had some barracuda and bonita, 0 for 3 on the yellowtail. Absolutely gorgeous weather with the exception of a little bit of rain on the way back. But overall, a really fun day, but lacking on the exotics. They did run into some bluefin that were not all that eager. They ended up with a bluefin and a yellowfin to go along with it. So there is a little bit of that stuff still around. Hopefully it's going to come together. Catalina Island, the pursuit. Well, our buddy Scott Grant was out there. Scott is another fantastic guy. I love fishing with Scott and his wife. The good people, and always with the right, great attitude, the kind of people I like to surround myself with, that positivity all the time. Scott said lots of bonita at Catalina Island on board the Pursuit. They had a lot of fun doing that. And then boats like the Patriot here recently, bass, bonita, barracuda, that kind of stuff. Freelance had limits of bonita over there at Catalina Island. So good action, beautiful weather, fun times. I don't know how you can beat it. I know we're all locked in now to bluefin tuna, yellowfin tuna, dorado, marlin, and all of that. But, you got to take what the ocean gives you, and you can always bring that positivity and a lot of fun out on a boat. So keep that in mind. That means a lot. Speaking of marlin, I just mentioned marlin. Man, I'll tell you what, there are marlin spread from beyond Santa Barbara Island all the way down to the border and below. They are really finicky right now, but there's a lot of striped marlin around, and I think the guys that focus on that are going to have some fun here real soon. I know some of those guys have been catching them. Some days are pretty good and other days are just slow. The fish have lockjaw, but there is a lot of marlin around this year. Don't forget the Bisbee's multi-million-dollar tournament down in Cabo San Lucas is October the 25th. We're watching that very, very closely. Up at Santa Barbara Island, there's been some big yellowtail there, hard to hang on to in the short water. 40-pound, highly recommended, good rockfish up there in that neck of the woods. San Nicolas Island, the El Dorado out of Long Beach was there and had limits on the bottom grabbers. Great fishing there for bottom stuff. Our bottom fish have not been hit at all this year. There's been such great offshore fishing. So that stuff is really on the recoup for sure. And then up there in the Channel Islands, we see a few white sea bass from time to time, a few halibut, good rock fishing up there. Aloha Spirit had excellent rock fishing. Along the coast, a little bit of yellowtail once in a great while, not all that often down there in San Diego. Good calico fishing, Punta Banda area for the Ensenada guys. Up and down the coast, mostly rockfish with some okay bass fishing, but mostly shorts. Dana Wharf, sport fishing, all those guys all the way up into the Santa Monica Bay and beyond, mostly rockfish. City of Long Beach, rockfish, although at the end of the day they went in and started hitting some of the rocks around and found some decent barracuda and bonita fishing in addition to that. Coral Sea up there out of Sea Landing in Santa Barbara have had some really excellent rock fishing, so we've seen some good fishing with regard to that. So hopefully we'll continue to see it. Up and down the beach here, there's some good Corvina fishing. Light line is what you want to use, and of course natural baits are the way to get that job done. Works really, really well. All right, folks, we've got squid moving in. We've got yellowfin tuna that are pulling the slip on us. We don't know where they went. Today should be a very interesting day because the fleet is not going to go back to that zone, I don't think. Some of them will, but there's going to be a lot more spread, and hopefully somebody's going to come up with where those little devils got off to, and we'll find them. Don't forget, October the 23rd, we are going to see a really great time down there at 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. Desiree Rodriguez is going to be there. If that doesn't make it a successful, memorable event right there, then I don't know what will. And Eddie Leland, I'd love to see those two meet together. Talk about two really good people. Seminars, food, fun, raffles, open house on the boats. Some of the boats. Most of the guys may be out off fishing their tails off. And I'll be at 22nd Street Landing in just a few hours, about 10 o'clock until close probably tonight. All right, my friends, I can't express my gratitude to you enough. 1 million views, thousands upon thousands of hours consumed by you of Friedman Adventures content, and of course, helping us to help others. We'll be down in Mexico this January distributing literally thousands of pieces of clothing, food, and so much more. All thanks to you. Come to the event, buy some raffle tickets. That would really help us a lot in this venture. And also you can make a contribution if you like to our Mexico efforts. Smash that thumbs up right now. Hit that like button. You have all my thanks, all my very, very best. And I hope to see you October the 23rd, Sunday morning, 8 o'clock till 12 noon at 22nd Street Landing. Have a lovely Sunday. Take care, my friends.
Let's go. Chop chop. Let's go. Chop chop. Let's go. Chop chop.